Okay, good morning. I'm Jeff Bruner, and I, along with my colleagues, want to welcome you and thank you for joining us for Taco Tuesday Potluck Edition. These sessions are a chance for library folks to interact with each other around a particular topic. The webinars are recorded and shared so that if you have colleagues who couldn't be here today, you can share the recorded session with them so that they can benefit as well. So today we're hosting a show and tell of sorts, highlighting 3 different ILL management systems. We'll be seeing short demos of Iliad, WisCat, and WorldShare Interlibrary Loan. We're very excited to welcome 3 of your colleagues to give us a little demo of how each of them uses their respective system. So joining us today, we have Connie Muhlmans from St. Norbert College, Maureen Welch from IFLIS, and Jamie Healy-Plotkin from the Wisconsin State Law Library. Each presenter is going to take a little bit of time to show us the system they're using in their day-to-day and can take some questions from the group. I think it's likely that we'll have time at the end of today's session if any of the other attendees here today want to share about the systems they work with or just talk a little bit about ILL topics in general. I think that would be okay too. Just as a little bit of housekeeping, if you aren't presenting or aren't kind of speaking at a particular time, if you wouldn't mind just muting your own microphone just to kind of cut down on cross noise, that would be great. I'll be muting myself, of course, when I'm not on as well. So I think that's probably enough preamble. So I'm going to turn things over to Connie Muhlmans from St. Norbert College, who is going to talk to us a little bit about Iliad. So Connie, I am going to now make you the presenter, and hopefully that'll all work out. And oh, we can see your screen, and I'm going to mute myself, but I think you are muted right now. So, all right, I think you're unmuted. Go ahead.
Good morning, Jeff and everybody. So we've been using Iliad now for about 12 and a half years. So far, we found that it does everything that we need it to do. So we have your basic borrowing, document delivery, and lending. So I left some things in here today to give you a short overview on how we do our process. So one thing that we do have done is we have some parameters set up that if a certain borrowing request meets them, it'll be pushed right into our document delivery for purchase. And then we'll just take a look at it from there and see our criteria. And then we'll purchase it at that point. We also it can also be pushed into POD, which is purchase on demand. Don't have any in there right now. We're in finals week right now, so I had to do a handout this morning, so there was stuff to show you. So I've got a request process, a borrowing request right now, and this one's a little tricky because it doesn't match. So because we own Kate Chopin, The Awakening, but it's not by this author. So I have to notify the student to see if he still wants it because it's not as cited. So, but normally I would just simply go into OCLC, click on that, click on her there, and we would have these. And at that point, we just click on there, and then gives us the whole record, so I can look to see if that author that they mentioned was in there, and it's not. But if it was, I could go into holdings, and we have custom holdings set up for articles, books, and then I would just click on that, and it would give me that, and then I would go from there to do that, but can't take that to completion. Anyway, Oh, and we also have direct requests for our article. So if everything is in there that we need in the borrowing request, it just shoots right out into the biosphere and, it'll fill. But if it doesn't, then it'll stay in there for us to do. On our document delivery, we're at the end of the fiscal year, so we're not purchasing until after the first of the year. But we've got these sitting there for that day of reckoning, and we'll start purchasing again once June 1st comes. And then in lending, that coming to us, obviously. So again, we just click on it and check all of this to see if we can do a little editing in here. And then update that record selected. Now, I know this book is checked out because it's a brand new book that we just got, so I would have to just cancel that request. But here's our catalog. So I knew that it was checked out because we just got it. And I would have to just cancel it because it's checked out. And then it goes on. So otherwise with a regular, so yeah, we just click on, and then if it's a loan or article request, this would give us a Google Scholar search, and then we also have it set up here, and click on there. And it'll take us to our nifty new browse line that Mitchell set up. So I actually haven't got to use this yet because he just did this. So there's that. So that's 3 basic easy steps. There's also the checkout, and then check in and stuff like that. So anyway, just click out because I probably had enough coffee today that I don't think I did. Anyway, any questions?
Hi, Connie. This is Jeff. Actually, I have a quick question. I can't remember. It's been a while since I used Iliad. Does it interface with your catalog? So if you're lending something out, will it automatically check that thing out of your own catalog so your users know the item's out, or do you have to do that as a separate step?
We have it, well, see, we're still using Millennium, so we're still riding the dinosaur. So we have it as an add-on, but I go in and I check to see if it's checked out, and then if it's not checked out, then I physically go in, like I think this guy was on shelf. So what I have to do is, and then I have to create a full slip for my student worker, and then he gets it, he checks it out in our catalog, and then I check it out here. So that's kind of clunky, but like I said, we really are, it's a process that works for us right now. And then just do that, and then I create the pull slip and have Luke go and pull it for me, and we go from there. Does that make sense?
That does. Thanks a lot. So you said you've been on Iliad for 13 years. I can hardly believe that, actually.
I know. Well, I've been here 13 years. Yeah, and I'm just like, so we got this right after I started. So, yeah, it seems weird that it's that long, but it works for us right now. We don't have any clear plans to switch over until like the UWs do. So, and Mitchell is very well versed in it. So it makes it really easy for me to do my job because he knows so much. But yeah, one of the little snafus is right here that because Tapas's not playing real nice sometimes with Iliad, but I'll get a article request and it shows up as a loan request. And so we noticed that shortly after some of our aspirants started going with Tapasa that we were getting kind of wonky requests. And so I have to physically go in there and change them from a loan request to an article. So, I mean, I guess that's just something that, you know, we're dealing with as far as that goes, but we're aware of it. So, you know, at least we can catch it.
That makes sense. So just to clarify, you mean so sometimes when a borrowing library is using Tapasa and they send you an article request, it might appear in Iliad as a loan request on your end.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. So then I just have to, you know, give it a chance to, you know, reboot as a article, and then I can just go into here, and chances are we'll have it, and I'll just do the quickie. Quickie. Say quickie, but it's a lot of quickie. Boom. We have the article. So anyway, that's me.
Great. Thank you so much, Connie. If anybody else has questions for Connie about their use of Iliad, please feel free to, I don't know, unmute yourself and chime in or put something into the chat window. We'll give it maybe a minute here just in case anyone's trying to type out a message. And then we'll switch to our next presenter. Thank you so much, Connie. That was really fun for me. I haven't been working in Iliad in a long time, but I did used to work in it all the time. So it was kind of a fun little reminder of those days.
Thanks, Jim.
All right, well, why don't I go ahead and I'll switch back to my screen, and then we'll get our next presenter ready to go. All right, hopefully you're back to viewing my screen here. So our next presenter is going to be Maureen Welch from IFLIS, who I think is going to be showing us a little bit about WSCAT. So Maureen, are you there? I don't know.
I'm here.
Great. Okay, let's make you the presenter, and then you can take it away.
Okay, hopefully you're seeing I did a little PowerPoint slide because I can go through a little bit more quickly.
Looks good to us.
So great. Basically, I am Maureen Welch. I'm the Reference and ILL Coordinator, IFLIS Library System, formerly the Indian Head Library System. So we're IFLIS now. And I've been here for 20 years, and I've probably been working with WSCAT for at least 25. So with some version of it. What I'd like to do is give you just a brief overview of how we use WSCAT within our system. We have 10 counties, 53 public libraries. 49 of those 53 are on our shared system called MORE. And we do what I call decentralized borrowing using WSCAT. So the majority of our libraries create and manage their own borrowing requests on the WSCAT software. We do centralized lending for incoming WSCAT and OCLC requests. So here at the IFLIS office, we act as a clearinghouse. We broker those lending requests. So those WSCAT requests or OCLC requests come into our office and we place holds on the shared system. We also act as a default library for all of our libraries on WSCAT, which I'll sort of show as we go through. And we do out-of-state referral for our libraries, and we also handle subject requests. So we still do a lot of interlibrary loan in-house for our libraries. WSCAT basically is sort of that discovery and ILL management. So it has what I call a hybrid catalog. It's got still a WSCAT Union catalog. It's much smaller. It's handling actually most of the discovery with live catalogs. So there's a lot of Z39.50 connections to all the different catalogs, and it's sort of a strength and can be an issue as well, depending on the biggest strength is it allows availability checking, which means that it moves through a lender string. A library that's got a copy in use never sees that request, it skips right by them. The issue with that is the more things you have checked, the slower your search might be. So you want to be a little selective about that. It also has an interlibrary loan admin side, which basically means that's where you're going to manage the requests. And it also has some options for patron initiated requesting. This is basically just a snip picture of the simple search screen, which most patrons, or if you're signed in as staff, may be starting out at. Every WSCAT library that's signed in, they have a scoped URL for their particular library. The simple search screen basically has title, but you also can choose other searches to go to advanced search. The staff dashboard is the ILL management side. That's where you're going to go to switch and manage your requests. If you click on that other searches and go to advanced search, then you have your choices for if you specifically want to search for a title and an author, or if you want to do an ISBN. And a lot of this is customizable about what you want as your defaults in your advanced search. And also on the advanced search screen is where you can see all the live catalogs that are currently checked, because we do so much going beyond or trying to find additional places that may or may not own it. We have a lot of resources checked. The libraries have a little fewer. I usually recommend that they have their own catalog, all the public library catalogs, UW-Madison, and a few of the other academic and school, but primarily we're just trying to find a record to create a request. And as I said, sort of these live catalog searches, really the availability checking is the big choice for that. So when you do a simple search, this is sort of the list view. And this is where you're going to be able to say you do your more faceted kind of choices. You don't have that choice because it's live catalogs. You can't really say, I want to look specifically for large print. You sort of do a search and then you can limit it to large print. It tends to match up requests as it can. So sorry about that. And you have a choice from this results screen of doing request this item, or you can do, you can go down to specifically a large print, or you can go into a specific record. If you're not exactly sure that this is matching up, you can choose one of the catalogs to look at more specific details. One of the pluses on WSCAT is that if it is an ebook, you will see a view details, but you won't get a request this item. So, and if you are getting request this item for an electronic resource, then it's probably an issue with the cataloging in that live catalog. If you do go into a more detailed choice for a particular record, you just get a little bit more of the MARC record, but you also have a couple more choices for, you can do multi-copy requesting within WSCAT. You can also download the record if you want to, say, put it into a local catalog. So this is just a look at the gallery view for a search. What we were seeing in the results was the list view. The gallery view tends to be the default for patrons or for where you're not currently logged in. It can be good visually, but it can be a little trickier. So of sort of seeing kind of but all of this is customizable as far as what you want your patrons to see or what you want to see. For the DVDs, it is a little, they don't bunch as much, they don't match up as quickly, but basically your main goal in WSCAT and in Discovery is just to find a record that matches what your patron wants, and you want it to match up with author, title, format, edition. As long as you choose that one record, then you can do a request this item, pulls up an ILL form, which has the bib information in there. It has your library information. You are going to add in your patron information, which are the other required fields. And once you submit that request, WSCAT goes to work. So, and basically it creates the request and gives it a request number, and that request goes over into the management side. So it is at that point basically doing sort of an awaiting lenders. It's creating a lender string and sending it then off to pending. So then when you do sort of your staff dashboard, you can come over and you can manage those requests. ILL admin is where you're going to probably spend the majority of your time, probably in request manager. User admin is where you have the choices for doing sort of your patron initiated ILL, giving your patrons abilities to place requests, and all requests that patrons create go into an awaiting lenders. How WSCAT creates lender strings is basically based on, in the participant record, each library has a preferred lender list, and the system-wide lender list is going to basically put a string together in order based on those lists. As I was saying, that we actually act as a broker. We do centralized lending. So any WSCAT code that is coming to a library is actually going to have a slash for if list is GHIA. We're going to see the request here. We're going to place a hold on more, or we're going to move it along our list C. One of the real strong features of WSCAT for us is that it actually sends ILL requests through to the other softwares, OCLC and Iliad, and Minitex also plays in WSCAT. So within WSCAT itself, we are getting requests filled by publics, academics, school, special, and Minitex libraries. Then beyond WSCAT, we use OCLC to go out of state. So as I said, request manager, this is sort of where we play. These are all the different categories that we kind of keep track of. Within each category, you can update any particular request from whatever that this one's pending. My choices are going to be received or cancel. There are also some barcode processing possibilities if you deal with a lot of requests. Every single request, the choices for, if it's in shipped, you can update it to received or lost. If it's in received, you can update it to returned or do a renewal. So there also is the conditional choice. So we'll see a lot of conditionals when it's non-circ and you need to get a photocopy information in there. And within each category, of course, you're not really sure necessarily where your request is. So you can also search and look by title or by patron. So, and every single request happens to have history information. As you can see, sort of this request was automatically approved because it was created by staff. It went through and basically skipped all the libraries where it wasn't available, came to us where we updated it to shipped, it was updated to received, it was asked for renewal, accepted renewal, it was returned, it's about to be checked in. So, and also I mentioned sort of going through to other like sending on to Iliad or OCLC within this one went on to UW-Madison for them to fill. One last thing, as I said, many different versions of WSCAT. We have an upcoming migration to version 6 of WSCAT coming at the end of this month. And BadgerLink and WSCAT will be down from 7 p.m. on Friday, May 31st through 7 a.m. on Monday, June 3rd, as they get that configured and set up. And if you need more information about that, there is a WSCAT user group meeting set up for next Tuesday, May 14th at 11 a.m. And you can join the WSCAT ILL listserv if you're not a part of that to get more details on the webinar, or contact probably RL and LL. So, and that meeting will be allowed and recorded and sent out as needed. So if anyone has any questions about WSCAT, I'm happy to show anything live or answer any questions that you have.
Thank you so much, Maureen. That's really interesting to me because I have always been on the, I mean, I haven't been in ILL work for a while, but when I was always on the kind of Iliad WorldCat resource sharing, it was called back then, side of things. So it's always interesting and kind of insightful to see how the other side lives. So that's really cool. Thank you so much for sharing. If anybody has any questions for Maureen, please feel free to chime in or put something into the chat box. Thanks again, Maureen. So pending that, I'm going to go ahead and switch back to my screen to get set up for our next presenter. But again, feel free to chime in if you've got any questions. And that should be working now. So our third sharer today will be Jamie Healy-Plotkin from the Wisconsin State Law Library, who is going to talk to us, I think, about WorldShare Interlibrary Loan. Jamie, are you all ready to get going?
Yes, I am.
All right, I'm going to make you the presenter. And hopefully we should be all set.
Okay. Let's see. Hopefully it likes me.
Well, we can hear you, so that's already a good
It's great. That's a good step today.
Yep.
It's thinking about it and it's popping me up.
Well, hopefully you just drifted off to your happy place.
Okay, I think we can, yep, I'm seeing your screen now, Jamie, so I'm going to go ahead and mute myself and you can take it away.
Next week.
Although we don't hear you anymore.
Good luck till Thursday.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Oh, I hear you now.
Oh, great.
Okay.
Hi. Yep, there was one other thing to click there. Hi, my name's Jamie Healy-Plotkin. I'm at the Wisconsin State Law Library. We're a special library. We're just off Capitol Square in Madison, Wisconsin. We are the library for the Supreme Court. And we are open to the public. Our library card holders, however, are limited to judges, attorneys, and state employees, and that includes librarians. And then we also have 2 branch libraries, one in the Dane County Courthouse and one in the Milwaukee County Courthouse. We have a special collection. As I said, we are a special library, so we have a small user base. And that also includes our interlibrary loan. It is a small amount of users. So we use OCLC WorldShare. It's a great product for a small and special library. It also has a good value. The cost of it is quite low for what we get out of it. And we have used it for years. I was trying to get some history and nobody could come up with a time frame, so it's just been always around. So we have a low number of requests, which means it's very hands-on, time intensive, but with the volume, it's not a big deal. So the monitoring is quite easy because we just log in and move on to the next item. So it's linked to your OCLC holdings, which I think most systems are. It allows communication between the libraries. So you have those conditionals, you have your comments, the libraries can ask for renewals. You can have a little bit of back and forth between the libraries that are requesting, or if you're requesting for borrowing purposes. Great thing that I find, since I'm the one doing the work, is that I can get a preset printout of mailing labels and book straps, so the paperwork that goes with the books. There's options for payment. You can set your limit at $0. We can have payment through IFM, and then we could also just invoice the library individually. Since we do borrowing and lending requests to individual law firms that might happen to be in OCLC, but they don't have IFM set up, we can send them an invoice instead. And then because it is OCLC, they have many training opportunities available, so you can do webinars that way. I am the cataloger here, but ILL is another one of my duties, and I've only been doing ILL at this library for just over a year. It didn't take much to learn how to do it. I had previously worked in ILL at UW-Madison, where I used Iliad. So it was not much of a learning curve to get into OCLC World Share. So let's check it out. Let's hope that I'm able to bring this up. And this is my normal view. As you can see, we don't have much coming in for borrowing or lending. We have an item that is being returned from UW-Madison. And so you can see the lender string of where it went to, and we were the first ones to say we have it. UW-Madison has already said that they're returning it, and it's just a notification for me to watch for it to come in the mail, and then I'd be able to check it in once it is returned. In our borrowing request, again, this is a normal view for me, not too many items in or out. We have one item out to a patron. This is all manually done. I can type in the patron if I wanted to, or I just keep track of it with my emails that have come in. And I was able to put in this request by going into Discover Items, find the record that the patron was looking for, manually pick the lender string that I wanted, set the amount of money that the patron is willing to pay for the item, and then go ahead, it auto-populates, and I send it off. And then when it's received, click Receive, and then when the patron either wants a renewal, I can communicate with the library, or if the patron has returned the item, I click Sending Back. And then that's the same, well, for lending items, the requests come in, and let's see, it's not going to look too different. This would be an article request, and I have sent this, but the library hasn't clicked a certain button to say that they have received it. But I can go ahead, find the article, pop it into Article Exchange, drop the article within there, and then that, say that, let's see, I think this one did not want to pay, so we have the fee down at 0. I don't know if you can see that, so fee is down at 0, and then it gets sent off to that library, and they're able to pick up the article. So like I said, it's all manual. I can do email communication back and forth with the individual libraries just because I have such a low volume. And then the other thing to point out is OCLC uses statistics. That actually takes me to another page for login, but I can see my data of how many lending and borrowing requests have gone out, how much IFM has gone in and out. But it is a great tool for a library that doesn't have a lot of borrowing or lending. With that, I will turn it back for questions.
Thank you so much, Jamie. I agree. One of the few interlibrary loan related things I do anymore is that Wills works with OCLC, and so I actually do a little kind of live intro training class for WorldShare ILL online once a month, and so I guess I'm probably more familiar with WorldShare than any other system, even though I don't actually provide any ILL services myself. But I've always thought it was a really good system, especially as you say, if your volume is low enough or your capacity is high enough that you can do some more of the kind of hands-on day-to-day operations that might be covered by a more I don't know, like an Iliad or a Tapasa, like a more of a management system. So that's really good. Thank you so much for sharing with us. Does anybody have any questions for Jamie or any of our other presenters? Now would be a great time to do so. Otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and switch things back to my screen. How do I do that? Okay, here we go. Okay. Well, we've still got a little bit more time today, so if anybody has any other topics they want to cover or anything else interlibrary loan you'd like to discuss, please feel free to chime in. I'm going to go here to this screen here. I'll say thank you, everybody, for attending. If you have any questions that you don't want to ask in the group, but you still would like answered, please feel free to reach out to our presenters or to me or to coop@wills.org. And we'll be happy to answer questions or refer you to somebody who can. And the last thing I'll say is keep the first Tuesday of every month in mind. Next month, we will have another Will's Taco Tuesday session, and that is on June 4th at 11:30 o'clock. Let me try that again, 11:30 a.m. And again, we'll have 4 of our Will's vendor partners to come in and give some short demos of some of their products in a little bite-sized format to give you a sense of what they might be offering. Let me see here. We've got some questions in chat. Nora asks, has anyone else had a lot of stuff go missing in transit lately? I've had an unusual amount of things lost since the beginning of the year. Can anybody else chime in? Seem like, and Nora, you mean physical items, right? Things that were shipped to you but then just never got there, or you shipped out but never got to their destination? Oh, geez. Oh, that's distressing. Kathy asks, mail or by delivery service? Oh, and she says both. Maybe it's just you, Nora. You've just got too much good stuff. Everybody just wants to snatch it out of the mail. I don't know. That's a little bit alarming when things just go disappearing. Well, hopefully that stops happening, or at least maybe hopefully you'll be able to track down what's happening there. Okay, well, I think that brings us to the end of our session. Thank you all for attending. I hope you got a lot out of today's session. We're able to learn a little bit of something about how other libraries do their interlibrary loan services. Please feel free to reach out to me or to anyone at Wills if you have questions. And I'm sure that our presenters today would be happy to answer questions as well. So again, thank you for coming. And please join us again next month on the first Tuesday at 11:30 a.m. and we'll go back to our usual Taco Tuesday session, which will have vendor reps here to show us bite-sized looks at some of the resources that they're selling. All right, thanks so much for attending and have a great afternoon.